I think if you ask most lawyers, they'll tell you that they're extremely busy. Um, in reality, it seems like lawyers, while they are busy, the busy phases come every few months or so. So if you practice law, odds are every 3 or 4 months, you're going to have something major going on, a trial, a large business transaction, or maybe you'll just have a lot of small things going on all at once. But you're almost never continuously busy to the point where you can't respond to emails, you can't take phone calls, you can't give people a little bit of your time. Um, I find that there are, generally speaking, two types of lawyers. There are lawyers who do everything themselves, and there's only a few lawyers like that. And then there are lawyers that let other people do much of the work for them. Now, I always prefer to deal with lawyers who actually have little time on their hands and who do most things themselves because they don't create problems where problems don't exist. And they don't have the time to fight and bicker over meaningless things. On the other hand, lawyers who have other people doing much of the grunt work for them, these sorts of lawyers have nothing but time, and they use it basically to stir up trouble, to argue over meaningless things, and to sort of just come up with some sort of justification for their being in the transaction to begin with. So I'll give you an example. I recently had a closing. This lawyer worked at a firm. It was a real estate closing. So at the beginning of the process, this lawyer was involved in the negotiation of the purchase and sale agreement. She made some inconsequential changes to the agreement, and then nobody heard from her again. Um, she had some other lawyer do the title exam, a paralegal do all of the document preparation and the proration of the numbers and put together the settlement statement. And then yet another paralegal showed up at the closing, exchanged documents with me. Um, that sort of attorney has a lot of time where if something were to come up, they would then be justified in stepping in and arguing and feeling like they had a role in the whole process. Um, so I think if you're dealing with an attorney and the attorney tells you over and over and over again that he's busy and he's using that for an excuse for not getting things done, realize that lawyers are almost never continuously busy. Um, Now, it is possible, like I said, that the person is just having a busy month and you need to bear with them. But if it goes on endlessly, then that lawyer is just making excuses. Also, if you have a lawyer who has either a team around him doing all the work, or at least another, paralegal doing a lot of the work on the lawyer's behalf, and you find that the lawyer's um, constantly butting heads with the other side, should ask that lawyer why. What's the big deal? Because, like I said, in some instances, a lawyer who is not hands-on, not doing all the work himself or herself, will just look for any little thing to bicker about with the other side and to sort of justify their legal fee and themselves in the transaction.